Welcome to the Full True Tactical Range by Range Systems. I'm Bo Dobozinski, lead instructor for SEAL Mindset Training, and this is your drill of the week. This week's drill of the week is part 3 of a 3-part series on integrating your tactical flashlight with your defensive handgun. In the first week of this series, we went through the primary hand-only shooting position as well as a primary hand-only concealment draw, both of which are necessary to be able to work in low light when we added in the flashlight for week number 2, where we started to work from the index position. The light's gonna make the firearm look different, the target different, all of those things. And then when you start actually adding in different layers of low light, everything changes further than that. We didn't get into that. This week, what we're gonna do is, just like a piano player has a rhythm hand and a melody hand, we're gonna start doing the same thing by actually starting to have to draw our tactical flashlight along with our defensive handgun. So let's get started. Drill number 1, what we're gonna do is just simply take our flashlight inside of our support hand and put it down at our side with our concealed handgun ready to go. This would be the same thing if you were a law enforcement with a kit, your firearm be all set up, your flashlight be in your hand, your hands would rest at your side. Now as you go to draw, you're going to have to do both the indexing of the flashlight as well as producing the firearm from your holster. We're gonna have our target that is a silhouette that is ballpark 10 to 30 feet away. You pick based upon your skill and your speed level. And we're gonna be working with the idea initially of doing one shot at a time and eventually working into triplets or 4s or 5s, whatever defensively you're conditioning yourself to do. Step number 2 for this drill is we're going to now take the flashlight off of our hands entirely. So if you have one of those rubber O-rings and stuff like I do when I set up my flashlight, or if you have a way that your flashlight gets hooked into kit, right now it's gonna go back into that kit. And we're actually going to have to draw from totally cold the flashlight and the firearm together. This again is a big deal for us as guys that are carrying concealed, because we might be carrying that flashlight concealed too. So in essence, I'm doing 2 separate concealed draws at the same time to get that flashlight and firearm all the way up to our presentation position. Again, go slow, take your time, don't worry about lots of speed initially. Start with the single shots with our target, and then eventually work into triples or 4s or 5s, whatever defensively you're setting yourself up to do. The next part of this, we talked about this or teased it a little bit in the first 2 sessions, was we wanted to add one more firearms position for defenders as well as for certain types of law enforcement military application. And the position, we went through all the different ones that had some application for us as citizen defenders especially, was the Harries position. But it needed to be adjusted a little bit. Let me explain. So the Harries position, as we talked about last time, is primary hand is out, support hand wraps up underneath, and now the 2 of them sort of work together. The one nice piece about that is everything's in a line. The one drawback is in essence, that position is the same as this position because there's nothing that's aiding this hand in the mitigation of the recoil of the firearm. So if we could find a way to actually help mitigate the recoil of the firearm and yet still have it where we have the 2 hands aligned on the firearm, that would be beneficial. Well, here's how we would set that up. If you look over here on my support hand, there is an open space between the wrist and the base of the thumb. It's this sort of curved spot right here. It's right where the wrist wants to hinge. And in that spot, I'm actually now going to take the fingers of the primary hand, and I'm gonna put it right in that spot right there. And what this now allows me to do is I can get my push and pull going, which means I have a very, very stable position, adding into recoil management of the firearm, and I still have the lights in line. So I took the Harries from here to here, which is gonna give us a way better shot to be able to get rounds rapidly on target in a low light situation using 2 hands on the firearm. How this would work now for us as citizen defenders is that, let's say we were dealing with bad guy, light came out to light him up. We start to engage in deterrence. He produces some sort of a weapon. Our own weapon comes out from that index position. We put whatever rounds we needed to on target, downrange, to get them to stop. From there, we would disconnect, do our 360 check from low light, protecting the firearm. And now what I'd want to do is move to a position of tactical superiority. This can mean lots and lots of different things, so let's not get into that. But to do that, rather than moving around where I've got the two hands sort of separately, I'm going to integrate them so the two hands can now work together. And I can move to that spot of tactical superiority. And if, for example, another threat or the same one reproduces itself as a threat to my safety, it's very quick for me to come back up into position, getting that good recoil management, getting lots of rounds downrange. Our first drill from this modified Harries position, we're just gonna work on it, the position itself. So we'll set ourselves up, we'll put the hand across so we get the body position on alignment. We're gonna start from what we would call a two hands low position. It's one of our dynamic weapon positions. From there, we're going to present the firearm and the flashlight, light it up, and get 1 to 3 shots downrange onto our target, reset, assess, and conduct our 360 check. For drill number 2, we're gonna build it just like we talked about that mini scenario. So I'm going to start with my firearm holstered, either concealed or in my kit, however it is that I'm normally carrying that firearm. And I'm gonna start with the flashlight either in my hand or in my pouch and pocket. You can combine the first 2 drills entirely if you'd like. And from here, what we're gonna do now is we're going to do our draw to index using both hands at the exact same time, placing rounds on target from the index position. From there, we would reset, assess, and 360 check. I'm going to now transition myself into that modified Harries position, and I've set up in front of me a little bit of extra cover, and that cover is going to simulate for me a position of tactical superiority. So I'm going to now move in the modified Harries position to that position of tactical superiority, and from the position, utilizing cover and concealment, I'm going to come back out and get another couple of shots downrange, reset, assess, and 360 check. Low light, or defense, if you will, is a very large overarching topic. There's lots and lots of different little pieces. And what ends up happening is people start to attack the whole thing rather than go through and figure out which pieces of that whole thing am I lacking on, or which piece do I have a fatal flaw in? Is there something wrong with how I'm doing my training that could produce a fatal flaw? By trying to work specifically on one piece, you have the opportunity now to really beef that section up to make sure that that's not the weak link in your overarching idea of low light work or in defense. By working on just the integration of the flashlight and the firearm, we've done just that. Spend some time on these drills, take your time, go slow, and we'll see you in the next drill of the week. Like what you saw? Subscribe to my YouTube channel and keep checking out the training blog for more tips and drills. If you'd like a PDF copy of this training drill, go to sealmindsettraining.com and to the PDF download section. There, type in the promo code drill number 39.